let's go into some major concepts here. All of these are business human principles that we have to have as a ground game, so to speak. These are the principles that it's based on. So if you don't know these principles and you're not familiar with them, you'll start changing things, and then you won't even realize that you're possibly changing something that has a dramatic impact on the effectiveness of it. So like anything, everybody has to know why. When there's training, you got to know why. So we're going to go into the why right now. Why does this work, and how does it work? These are major principles of patient education. And so here's the first one, is paradigm shift. And this is huge. You cannot have a paradigm shift. And what is a paradigm shift? So if the knowledge or information that somebody is receiving is different than their awareness level, that's a paradigm shift. The degree of difference and how fast that difference occurs creates a paradigm shift. And you go, okay, well, here's the bad news and good news about a paradigm shift. Paradigm shifts decrease trust and confidence, and they increase defenses and resistance. So we got to pay a lot of attention to not violating a paradigm shift. And I'm pointing this out in chiropractic because this is one of chiropractors' biggest problems, is the subluxation. Chiropractors do not realize that it's a paradigm shift when a patient comes in for back pain and you start talking about asthma, allergy, and bedwetting. And the example that I give is if you went to the dentist, would you go to the dentist for asthma? Would you go to the dentist for bedwetting? See, just by me saying that, you're probably cringing a little bit. You're like, what are you talking about? Well, you go to the dentist for your teeth. You sit in the chair, and then the dentist looks at your history form you filled out, and he sees in your history form you have asthma. And he says, hey, I want you to know while you're here, I think we can help you with your asthma. I want you to look at this chart we have on the wall. It's of all the teeth and the meridians of the teeth that go to the organs. And you can see here where the molar is directly connected to the lungs. I think we're going to be able to help your asthma. What just happened to your paradigm shift? What just happened to your trust? What just happened to your confidence in the dentist? What just happened to your defenses? What just happened to your resistance? Do you even want to go back to that dentist for teeth now? That's exactly what's happened to the chiropractic profession, and why there's only 8% utilization after 120 plus years and a 67% negative name recognition. Now you'll call that dentist a quack, a kook, because that's one heck of a paradigm shift. And by the way, the meridian chart that I just shared with you with dentistry to the organs, kind of like that chart of the paraspinal nervous system, or the parasympathetic nervous system to the visceral organs that all the chiropractors use, and now they're, you push the button and the liver lights up and all that. By the way, that chart exists. It's real. There are meridians from the teeth to the liver to the lungs. So they have the same thing, but you don't hear dentists saying that you don't hear dentists promoting how they're helping asthma, allergy, and bedwetting, do you? So it is real. That is the single biggest problem in chiropractic and how it's been limited over 120 years. So what does that mean? You can't do paradigm shifts, and you got to kind of look at everything. You got to watch what you say too, because chiropractors are so used to saying certain things that's not even, it's a paradigm shift to a normal human being. The biggest one is the subluxation. So when somebody comes in for low back pain, the very next things out of your mouth should be, let me check you for low back pain. Okay? Not, let me show you this chart. Okay? Now, you'll see as we go through this, You can move people. In other words, there's something called gateways. Why do people come in to buy products and services? Those are called gateways. In chiropractic, 84% of the reason people come into chiropractors is for neuromusculoskeletal back pain, neck pain, headaches. That's 84%. 9% is for extremities. So 91% of the reason people come to chiropractors is for the category of neuromusculoskeletal, okay? And you'd be surprised how many people don't even think chiropractors treat extremity problems. So that leaves 9% of 8%. So we got a real small number, right? 9% of 8%. Does that mean 9% of 8% come to chiropractors for the somatovisceral reflex or the subluxation? No. Where does that come from? Of that 9% that's getting treated for asthma, allergy, bedwetting, 80% of those people came in from the gateway. Back pain, neck pain, headaches. And while they were there, the chiropractor did his thing, and he did the dentist thing and said, oh, by the way, I see you have asthma here. I think we can help you with your asthma. And so of the 9% of the 8%, that's the visceral that's being treated. 80% of that is not from the market saying, I think a chiropractor can help me with my immune system, with my allergies, with bedwetting, choleric. That is not what's happening. That's only 20%. Only 20% of 9% of 8%. How small of a number are we talking about? We're talking about a ridiculously small number, and it's confined to your geographic radius of draw. In my business, in my practice, we never had anybody come in to get their allergies treated, their asthma. Never. We didn't have it. We had not one person in 77 offices in 20 states, 600,000 patient visits a year that came in to have their subluxations checked after 120 plus years of promoting subluxations. And I always say, if you got those kind of results from your financial advisor, you would have fired your financial advisor 124 years ago. So paradigm shift. We got to pay a lot of attention to paradigm shift. That's a major concept. There can be other paradigm shifts, but this is a killer in the chiropractic profession. When a patient comes in for back pain and you start talking about neck pain. No different. I was given this one example the other day. I said, if you had a carburetor problem with your car, the carburetor, you took it to the car dealer. How would you feel if he started talking about your transmission and how he could help you with your transmission? You wouldn't want him talking about the transmission. You'd want him to fix your carburetor. Okay? So it's called the law of categories. The law of categories. How far off of a category is it? Well, when you go from neuromusculoskeletal to visceral, that's a big category that's way off. Now, weight loss isn't. Now, people aren't coming to chiropractors because of weight loss. People don't go, in other words, that's not a gateway to chiropractic. People don't go, I want to lose weight, I better call a chiropractor. That's not what they do. So you have to have a but it's not a paradigm shift because we're dealing with essentially the body. So that's not seen, same as massage. That's not seen as a paradigm shift because we're still dealing with the body, okay? So we're going to pay a lot of attention to this thing called a paradigm shift. We don't want any paradigm shifts. No paradigm shifts whatsoever.